think I always wanted to be a nurse, even from a little girl. And when I started to get into the hospital atmosphere and go to college, I learned that once I was in the hospital, I couldn't handle physically the environment, the hospital lights, the people, the bustle of the environment. And so I ended up in the laboratory, and I wondered, what was I going to do with the rest of my life? I had this whole trajectory of what I thought I was going to be, and it took a shift. And so I ended up in the lab and in sales, and had a very lucrative career and very exciting, teaching physicians about clinical diagnostic tests. Then I got married, had several children, 3 children, actually a set of twins. That was a surprise. And when I went back to work, I had an episode that I almost died with cancer, and it brought me to this awareness in my physical body that I wasn't doing something right to care for myself. That changed the trajectory of my focus from just living the American dream on the outside but feeling sick on the inside, to paying attention to my body and listening to what I actually needed to do to care for myself in a different way. And what I realized is I didn't know how to do that. I happened to meet a colon-hydrotherapist in the grocery store while I was buying things that you typically hide, like X-Lax, because I had a really hard time with constipation, and Kleenex, and I didn't go home without my antihistamines because my allergies were so intense. And she tapped me on the shoulder, and she happened to tell me, if you want to get off all of those, you'll call me. I looked at her card and I said, oh, there's no way I'm going to try that. Now, to explain my circumstances, I had already been through cancer. I had 3 small babies at home. I was very professional in my career and in my career, and I wasn't about to go and visit a colon-hydrotherapist. I Googled it and saw the scary stories on the internet about colon-hydrotherapy, and here I hadn't gone poop in 8 days. But I finally picked up that colon-hydrotherapist card, and I went and I started teaching myself with her guidance on how to let go. And the literal letting go process, after about the 4th session, I remember going into my car afterwards and feeling empty for the first time, I think, in my entire life, because I'd always had some sort of constipated issue. And I remember crying, where you can't catch your breath crying, and I just let it all go. And I'm going to cry right now just thinking about the magic that happened after I did that release, and the relief I could feel in my shoulders and in my gut and in my feet and legs was just a profound experience of an awakening of what it felt like to finally let go of all the emotions, all of the weights, everything that I was stuffing down, to have this illusion of this perfect life on the outside that was actually making me sick. And then I realized that this was what was missing from our society, of our ability to let go, our ability to have a safe place to go, to have that freedom, to have the permission, and then the guidance and support. So in that moment, I knew that was what my life purpose was, to create internal wisdom, to have a space so people could learn to let go and really create freedom within their body and listen to their body as opposed to ignore it. We had 2 float tanks at my center, and we had gone to the float conference, and we started learning about the vibrational frequencies of water. And we started becoming curious about all the people going into the float environment, and it's cleansed, but what their thoughts and feelings and how that was imprinting in the water. I started looking on the internet, found NES, and it was an answer to a prayer as far as getting clarity on where to help a certain individual with their particular needs at that moment, and how can we provide that solution with water, with imprinted information. And it was just like, aha, and I trusted my gut and found NES, and it's been instrumental part of my practice since. I had no idea the impact that frequency had in our life. I didn't understand prior to going on this journey in natural health our connection to the earth, our connection to water, how our bodies are a high percentage of water, and our thoughts and feelings and emotions affect how we feel. So each client comes in, we do an intake interview and seeing where their life is at, what are their goals. We take an assessment with the NES scan, and then we match the infoceuticals with the scan along with the stresses and other goals that that client wants to achieve. So it's a very clean, understandable, and simple way to have buy-in for the client, because they can actually see and go, I knew that this was it, or it's confirmation for them. So for me, it helps me to access them to trusting their bodies again, to stop ignoring those signals, because it's right there in front of them on the NES scan. And they're like, what? How does it know that? From just the scan? It's fun. A couple of years ago, we had a woman, and a young woman, she was 23. She was overweight. She was breaking out in hives and having a lot of physical stuck energy with her gut. So we started her on NES. Liberator came up for her. And whenever Liberator comes up, I pay attention, because she's wanting to be free of something. She's wanting to release something. And so we started a series of colon-hydrotherapy. We started her on the infoceuticals, and within a week, her entire life shifted. She had so much clarity and started putting those steps in place. She ended up moving to Italy, finding the love of her life, and within a year and a half, completely shifted her weight, her where she lived, her disposition. She started doing podcasts, and I think she's pretty famous now. She comes back every year when she comes to visit, and comes in and thanks me and NES for changing her life, literally. My number one tip for practitioners is to use the NES system with yourself. It will help you to gain confidence and clarity and trust within your own body and within the system. And I will use NES particularly as stabilizers with the feel goods. So we have those on, I don't want to say on tap, but we have it here so that clients can come in and they can use love, they can use chill, they can use Liberator a little bit, to help get them prepared for letting go and other services that we provide. Our core belief is that self-care is self-love. It's not selfish the way we've been taught. There's freedom when we have enough energy. Now we can create and give love from a different space than out of have to. And I think so many people are doing things out of have tos, as opposed to being strong, resilient, clear, confident, and then giving from that space, which is so much more powerful and infectious, right? I want that to infect my community. I want to be the power that inspires other people to be their healthiest.